The sun was dropping behind the city skyline when the camera faded in. The streets were still busy, but a strange tension hung in the air, like something big was about to happen. And it all started in the underground MMA training arena, where 5 champions thought they were about to prove a point. What they didn't know was that they were about to face a man who didn't need to roar, didn't need to brag, and didn't need to threaten. His presence alone could silence a room. His name was Steven Seagal. Welcome back to Smile and Scars. You're watching one of the most unbelievable confrontations ever witnessed, so let's dive right into the story. It began inside Iron Pit Gym, a rugged, low-lit place where fighters trained like their lives depended on it. 5 men ruled that arena, 5 MMA champions, each with a reputation for dominance. There was Roland the Rhino Cortez, a heavyweight who had knocked out opponents with a single punch. Next was Kelvin Santos, the fastest striker in the league. Then came Pavel Dragunov, a grappling monster from Eastern Europe. Beside him stood Samir Khan, a technical genius with unmatched precision. And finally, the one who started the whole mess, Duke MacArthur, a trash, talking, loud-mouthed fighter who had one talent stronger than his fists: arrogance. A week earlier, Duke had posted a video online. In it, he mocked Steven Seagal, calling him an old actor, a fake martial artist, and someone who wouldn't last 10 seconds in the cage. The clip exploded online. But what sent shockwaves through the fighting community was Steven Seagal's silent response. He didn't record a video, he didn't reply publicly, he simply showed up at Iron Pit Gym one evening, dressed in black, calm as ever. That's where part 1 begins. The 5 champions were in the ring, laughing, sparring lightly, throwing jabs at each other. The place smelled like sweat, ambition, and testosterone, and then the door opened. Steven Seagal walked in. The entire gym fell silent, like the air had been sucked out of the room. Even the punching bags seemed to stop swinging. Duke MacArthur smirked. Well, look who decided to show up. The Hollywood ninja himself. Seagal didn't answer. He didn't blink. He just kept walking until he was standing at the edge of the mat. His posture was relaxed, hands at his sides, eyes half closed, like nothing here impressed him. Like nothing here scared him. Roland Cortez laughed. Man, he looks like he just woke up from a nap. The others joined in. But Duke stepped forward, puffing out his chest. What are you doing here, old man? Come to prove you're real, or come to get embarrassed? Seagal's voice was calm, deep, steady. You said I couldn't last 10 seconds. I'm here to let you try. The gym erupted in murmurs. Duke spat on the floor. You seriously wanna fight me? No, Seagal replied. I'll fight all of you. Kelvin Santos froze mid-shadow kick. Hold on to all 5 of us at once. Seagal didn't repeat himself. Duke burst out laughing until he was almost coughing. This is gonna be fun. The champions circled him like wolves preparing for a kill. Seagal didn't take a stance. He didn't move, he simply breathed. Duke snapped first. Let's teach this old man a lesson. He charged in, swinging a wild right hook. The entire gym leaned forward, expecting impact, but Seagal didn't allow impact. He stepped aside barely an inch and redirected Duke's arm downward with the gentlest touch. Duke stumbled forward, confused only to take Seagal's palm strike to the chest. It wasn't even a hard strike, but Duke flew backward like he'd been hit with a battering ram. Gasps echoed around the gym. Roland didn't wait. The heavyweight lunged in, aiming for a double-arm grab. Seagal's hand moved faster than anyone in the room could track. He struck Roland's shoulder with precision, locking the muscle instantly. Roland winced, dropping to one knee. Kelvin tried to capitalize, launching a high kick at Seagal's head. Seagal leaned back slightly, letting the kick sweep through empty air. Then he tapped Kelvin's ankle with a soft flick of his wrist. Kelvin collapsed straight to the mat, unable to understand what just happened. Pavel Dragunov, the grappler, saw an opening. He dove for Seagal's legs, intending to drag him down. Instead, Seagal caught Pavel's wrist, twisted it with a motion so fluid it looked like a magic trick, and sent Pavel rolling across the floor. The audience watching from outside the ring shouted, What the hell was that? Is this even real? He didn't even try. Samir Khan, the calm one, approached strategically. You five rushed like fools. He hissed at his teammates. Let me handle this. Samir circled Seagal carefully, maintaining distance, studying every breath. He threw a lightning, fast jab, then another and another. Seagal blocked every single strike without moving his feet. His arms flowed like water, redirecting, neutralizing, soft but powerful. Then Samir went for a spinning back kick, his signature move. Seagal stepped inside the spin and tapped Samir's spine with 2 fingers. Samir dropped instantly, legs paralyzed temporarily from the nerve strike. His eyes widened, unable to believe it. What did you do to me? Relax, Seagal said. You'll stand in a minute. The gym erupted in laughter and disbelief at the same time. Everyone watching had forgotten to breathe. Meanwhile, Duke got back to his feet, furious, humiliated. You think you can play with us? He shouted. Let's finish him. The 5 regrouped, angrier than ever, forming a semi-circle around Seagal. This time they planned to hit him together. Duke shouted, go. All 5 lunged. Roland threw a punch. Kelvin kicked. Pavel aimed for a takedown. Samir tried to strike again. Duke charged head on. The room exploded with movement, but Steven Seagal moved like time slowed for him. He shifted sideways, letting Roland's punch hit air. He redirected Kelvin's kick, sending him crashing into Roland. He flipped Pavel over his shoulder like tossing a towel. He struck Duke in the stomach, folding him instantly. And with a single subtle wrist touch, he stopped Samir mid-motion. All 5 champions were on the floor. The room went silent, except for heavy breathing, grunts, and groans. Seagal looked down at them with calm eyes. You boys rely too much on strength. You haven't learned control. Duke tried to speak, but only wheezed. Seagal stepped away from them, heading toward the door. Train harder, respect the art, and next time don't brag about beating any man here. The door closed behind him. The entire gym stayed frozen, 5 champions lying there, defeated by a man who barely broke a sweat. And none of them, not a single one, was left standing. That was just the beginning, because humiliation burns hotter than fire, and these champions weren't done yet. They wanted revenge, real revenge. And what followed next would shake the MMA world in ways nobody imagined. Steven Seagal's footsteps echoed down the hallway as he left the Iron Pit gym, but inside the arena, the air turned poisonous. The 5 MMA champions sat scattered across the mat, each one seething with shock, pain, and a humiliation deeper than anything they had ever felt in their careers. Duke MacArthur lay on his back, staring blankly at the ceiling. He didn't even hit me hard, he muttered. How the hell did he do that? Kelvin sat cross-legged, rubbing his ankle where Seagal had disabled him with a simple touch. That wasn't normal, he whispered. It felt like he knew every move before I made it. Pavel slammed his fist on the floor. No, I don't accept this. That was luck. It had to be luck. Next time we go full force. Samir shook his head slowly. You go full force, you die. That man uses techniques we don't even train. Roland, the heavyweight, looked at all of them with a cold fire in his eyes. We're champions. People look up to us, and we got humiliated like amateurs. We can't let this end like that. Duke sat up abruptly. You're right, I'm not letting this old man walk away like he's untouchable. We're going after him tonight. Kelvin swallowed hard. You want to fight him again after that? No, Duke said, standing up with a grim smile. This time we're not fighting him in a ring. We're catching him outside where he doesn't expect it. Samir frowned. That's dishonorable. This isn't about honor, Duke growled. This is about getting back our pride. The 5 fighters looked at each other, and one by one they nodded. They convinced themselves this wasn't revenge. This was setting things right. But deep down, each of them knew the truth. They wanted payback. Meanwhile, outside the gym, Steven Seagal walked calmly toward the parking area, unaware of the storm gathering behind him. His eyes reflected nothing but peace. The same peace that came from decades of discipline, training, and spiritual grounding. He reached his car, unlocked it, and leaned against the side for a moment, watching the quiet street. Everything felt still, too still. He felt something, a shift in the air, a presence approaching, 5 of them. He didn't turn around, he simply spoke, his voice deep and steady. "You boys sure you want to embarrass yourselves twice in one night?" Behind him, Duke froze mid-step. How the hell did he know? Seagal finally turned slowly. The 5 MMA champions stood in the glow of the streetlights, bruised, angry, and determined. Roland stepped forward first. "This is outside the ring, no rules now," Kelvin added, "and no cameras." Pavel cracked his knuckles. "Let's see how good you really are." Seagal exhaled softly. "You're making a big mistake." Duke spat at the ground. "We'll see." They rushed him at once. Duke came from the front, Kelvin from the side, Pavel from behind, Samir and Roland from the flanks. They thought they had him cornered. They thought wrong. Seagal slid sideways, letting Duke and Kelvin collide with each other. He grabbed Pavel's wrist behind him without looking and twisted. Pavel screamed, dropping to one knee. Roland charged like a bull, trying to tackle Seagal to the ground. Seagal placed 2 fingers against Roland's neck, pressing a nerve cluster. The giant collapsed instantly, limbs useless. Samir went low, sweeping his leg towards Seagal's ankles. Seagal lifted his foot just enough, letting Samir's leg pass under him, then tapped Samir's shoulder. Samir spun uncontrollably and crashed into a trash bin. Kelvin, regaining balance, threw a flurry of kicks so fast the air whistled. Seagal blocked every single one with effortless movements, then slipped inside Kelvin's guard and delivered a soft tap to his solar plexus. Kelvin folded instantly, gasping like a fish out of water. Duke watched all 4 of his teammates drop within seconds. His rage boiled over. "You're not human." Seagal tilted his head slightly. "I'm very human, but you 5 are very unwise." Duke screamed and rushed forward with everything he had: punches, elbows, kicks, even a desperate headbutt. Seagal deflected every strike without stepping back. It was like Duke was fighting smoke. Then Seagal caught Duke's arm, twisted gently but decisively, and brought him to his knees. "You're strong," Seagal said calmly, "but strength without discipline is weakness, disguised as pride." Duke gasped in pain. "Just end it." "It already ended," Seagal replied. He released Duke and stepped back. One by one, the 5 fighters lay on the pavement, groaning, broken not by injuries, but by reality. Their pride was gone, their confidence shattered, and their arrogance destroyed. For a moment there was only silence, the kind that marks the end of a long, unnecessary battle. Seagal looked at them with an expression they hadn't expected. Not anger, not superiority, but disappointment. "You boys are champions," he said quietly. "Act like it. Fighting isn't about ego. It's not about proving you're the biggest in the room. It's about respect for the art, for yourself, and for others." They looked away ashamed. Roland whispered, "We shouldn't have done this." Samir nodded weakly. "He tried to teach us earlier. We didn't listen." Kelvin clenched his fist. "We deserved this." Pavel groaned. "I swear, I'll train properly from now on." Then all eyes turned to Duke. He lowered his head. "I'm sorry," he finally muttered. "I let my ego lead all of us into this mess." Seagal nodded. "That's the first wise thing you've said today." He turned to leave, but then paused. "You want redemption," he said without looking back. "Earn it, not with fists, but with humility." The 5 fighters stared at him, speechless, as he walked away into the night, silent, calm, unshaken. The next morning, the entire Iron Pit gym buzzed with rumors. People whispered about how 5 champions had attacked Steven Seagal, and yet none of them managed to stay standing for more than a minute. But something unexpected happened. Instead of hiding in shame, the 5 fighters returned to the gym, trained harder than ever before, and admitted openly that they had been humbled by someone far beyond their level. Their arrogance faded, their respect grew, and in a few months they became better fighters, not because they got stronger, but because they finally understood the true meaning of martial arts. As for Steven Seagal, some say he came back to the Iron Pit gym one more time, not to fight, not to teach, not to prove anything. He just stood in the doorway, nodded at the 5 men training inside, and walked away with the faintest smile. Because sometimes the greatest victory is not defeating others, it's helping them defeat their own egos.